Look, while I've built a multi-million-dollar photography business, here's what might surprise you. It's not about being the best photographer. It's about knowing exactly what to sell and why clients actually want it. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 products that consistently sell in my boutique portrait studio. And more importantly, I'm showing you the physical product so you can see how simple it is. If you're tired of clients saying, everybody just wants digital files, this video is going to change how you see everything. Before we dive in, here's what you need to know. I don't just randomly offer products. Every single thing I sell serves a specific purpose, both emotionally for my clients and strategically for my business. I have a process where I go through all of these with my clients before this session happens, so I know exactly what to photograph. They say big doors swing on little hinges, and this is one that I really want you to get. The images I'm creating in the session are based on the products they're telling me they love. And of course, then they're going to purchase them. They're not ordering based on the outfits they wear or the locations we go to. That's what most photographers do when they plan this session. That's what I teach that's completely different from what others do. This is how I reduce the amount of images I create and the amount of time that I am spending editing and retouching, and how I 10x my orders. Now, here's what confuses people about my system. They think, well, don't clients just tell you upfront what they want? The reality is, most people have no idea what they want. If I asked you right now, what do you want from this session we're doing next week? You probably would have no idea. That's exactly why my system that I created works so well. This meeting before this session isn't just about planning outfits. It's positioning myself as a home decorator, not just a photographer. So I'm showing them products and I'm helping them visualize where they would go in their home. I go through all of these products and I see what they like, and then I run each session completely differently based on what the client likes. For example, if the client loves the album, I'm going to need more clothing changes. I'm going to need more backgrounds. I might possibly need to go to different locations so I have enough variety to put in the album. And I need to know that up front. If my client is wanting portraits for their child's room or a whole family group portrait, I'm gonna plan this session differently, and the products I'm gonna present are going to be very different. This is why I don't just do digital files, because people need help with this. And here's the beauty. If you don't have a studio, which most of my students don't, I might walk into a client's home and see that their little girl is obsessed with purple. In the planning, I'm gonna create something specifically for her purple room. Or if I notice everything in their home is super aesthetic and neutral colors, I'm going to plan products that will look beautiful in your home. Let's jump into product number 1, which is wall portraits. This is my bread and butter. Literally, if you just go out and offer this one thing, you can make a lot of money. Let me show you a couple examples. This is a gallery wrapped canvas. There's no frame. It's meant to be hung on the wall unframed. It's got hooks on the back. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a staple for every home. If someone has a super traditional home, I'll often sway them toward a frame. But by offering framed wall portraits and canvas wall portraits, we have more variety for people. So isn't this fun? The other type of wall portrait that I sell a ton of is framed artwork. Now, this is a smaller one. I typically sell much bigger, but I wanted to be able to hold it up for you. Look at this yummy, precious, scrumptious little boy. And all of my artwork leaves my studio archivally framed. So UV glass, rag matte, and I want them to last. There were no framed portraits of me or really any printed portraits of me as a child, which is why I fight so hard for people to have printed artwork. Then we also offer some different surfaces like acrylic for bright, punchy color or metal for a more modern look. The key to this, though, is large. The bigger, the better. These are meant to be artwork on a wall. So even the same image printed as a 5x7 versus a 30x40, completely different story. I always tell my clients that their artwork is like a hug around the room. Because if you just went to a furniture store and you bought the entire furniture store and you brought it home, it would just look like a furniture store. And that artwork is what brings it all together. I had a client up in Chicago, it's about 3.5 hours from me, who went from being normal working people to coming into a lot of money. So they were building this giant house with an elevator and marble, and I'm sure their kitchen cost more than my whole house. And I worked with her and she had 5 beautiful children. And I encouraged her to do just one wall portrait of each of the 5 kids because she came from the world of, oh, we don't hang pictures of our kids in the main part of the house. So I had to kind of be really strong with her. And she told me that of everything in this new, gorgeous, very expensive home, she got more compliments on those 5 black and white portraits that I created of her kids than anything else. What does that tell you? I should have charged more. Just kidding. But I think that having artwork of your kids is how we show unconditional love. When I was growing up, my 2 best friends' parents had artwork in their homes. One was the posed family over the mantle, and one was the black and white, more photojournalistic style. But we were dorky junior high kids, and it really showed me that my friends were loved, thus I felt loved too. It was our most awkward time, and yet their parents celebrated them. And so I know how impactful that can be when we're feeling bad about ourselves, but our parents celebrate us anyway. For displaying wall portraits, I like to go into my clients' homes and help them find unexpected places. Of course, we've got over the mantle, in the foyer, over the sofa in the living room, but I'm looking in the dining room with personality images. I'm looking in every bedroom, like half bathrooms or entryway mudroom type rooms. I can always find a space in people's homes. I think the biggest key is big. I even tell my clients, fewer, bigger. You don't need 1 million digital files. Let's get a big, beautiful piece of artwork on your wall. I also teach them that we don't swap out. Did you have a grandparent who did the 8x10s up the stairway or over the piano and they would put your new school picture in? We don't do that. I teach my clients that this artwork becomes more valuable over time. They're permanent fixtures, not temporary decorations. My youngest daughter got married, and I still have up a series from when she first learned to walk and she's wobbling back and forth. It's one of my favorite things. Artwork is not meant to be swapped out. These are meant to be passed down as heirlooms. So again, you're positioning yourself as an interior designer, not a photographer, and you're solving problems in filling walls that they don't know how to fill. You're not just filling it with knick-knack, paddywhack, little 5x7s and little sit-around frames everywhere that when they have kids, they become weapons. I know. And I get it. Interior designers, if they work with them, they don't always get it. But if you teach your clients that fewer, bigger images become artwork, all they need to do is do it one time. And everybody who comes in their home will go, whoa, look at that. The boutique approach is fewer, bigger. Product number 2 is a series in one frame or in one product. My second best-selling product is a series, and I have several of these that are used in strategic ways, but I wanted to give you an example. Here is a series of 3 in a canvas, right? I showed you that. And I do my series differently than most people. They take 3 different images and put them in a frame or in one piece. For me, this is about telling a story. Here's, again, the key difference. These are sequential stories, like a little movie, not the best of collection. Here's a framed example of a little girl spinning in her little dress. This captures personality and movement in a way that one image can't. It shows how kids move, shows their little fingers if they're blowing a kiss, or siblings hugging, laughing, wrestling. It just really brings that story to life. What I love about these smaller collections, and could they do this on their cell phone and print it themselves? Of course they could. When you are the artist and you're creating it and you're curating it, it's just like a chef does. Some of my clients are actually really good photographers, but that makes them value it that much more. They're not trying to get the cheapest price. They're enjoying the story that we're telling with our artwork. And get this, in 27 years of business, I can only remember like 2 clients who said, you know what, I just want these 3 random images together, because I'm educating them on my vision, and my vision gets them excited. And then when all is said and done, they've ordered all the things because they have a place to put them in their home and they love them. Does that make sense? There's no high pressure. There's no trickery. Simply finding a problem and creating a solution. The other thing that's nice about this is these are add-on products. So it's not like, should I get the wall portrait or should I get the series? They're photographed completely differently and they're presented completely differently. So they're all part of the sales plan that we create in that meeting before the session even happens. And so it just unfolds like a meal. Sure, you need the appetizer, then you need a salad, then you need the meal. Maybe you have a glass of wine in there and you have a dessert. Same thing with this. We're giving them all of these things that are solving different problems. All right, product number 3. I put these together because there are a lot of ways you can do this, but really it's albums and books. And listen, I really keep the choices simple. I don't just let my clients pick from any album or book that my lab offers. I curate it for them. So let me give you an example. This is the album first. You can get them in linen or leather, and some have an image on the front, some don't. But basically, the pages are full of images. This is a senior session we did. And look, this girl collected rock band t-shirts. And so how fun. Maybe they didn't want to make a quilt from it, but she wanted to remember all of these concerts that she went to. And so we were able to add that to her album. She was in theater, so she did a lot of acting, and she was a runner. We went to the track. She was beautiful, like had a girly side. So we're really telling their story in an album. And this is definitely going to get your average sale higher. Again, can people do this cheaper? Absolutely, but they can do anything cheaper. That's how it works. We're looking for clients who want to be presented with this beautiful option. We have 3 choices of albums that we give to our clients, or books. And we need to know before this session if that's what they want, because I'm going to photograph it completely different than the session where they just want one specific image. More expensive in my business than the album is a hardback book. So with these, we design these where they have words and design elements and all the fun things. And as you notice, I have white gloves on because we don't want people getting them all grubby. So that adds value when we're showing them to the client and we're holding them so carefully. But this was a girl that flew in from another state. She's now a college pole vaulter, stud, of course, high school athlete, super fun, loved cute clothes, just a really, really neat kid. And listen, you may think, oh, I don't love albums. And I have a student who's actually now a coach in our program. She's a 2nd generation photographer from Canada. So she grew up an only child, the daughter of a father who was an excellent photographer. So of course, her whole life is captured in these gorgeous albums that she still sits around and looks at. Feels so good about herself, and she felt so loved. And so while it's not for everyone, there are a lot of times that albums and books are so important. Baby's first year is a great time, high school senior portraits, extended family sessions where you've got grandparents, you've got the siblings, and you've got each family unit. So you've got cousin photos, you've got grandparents with the grandkids, you've got the siblings, you've got the boys, you've got the girls, you've got all the combinations. Of course, that needs to be in a book or an album that all of the cousins can have. How cool is that? And I just think, what is more beautiful laying on your coffee table than a book of the people you love? Nothing. It's really cute because when my daughter got married, I bought her and her husband an album because the photographer didn't offer one. And she was given all of the images with all printing rights. So I said, hey, let me get that done for you. And I sent her gloves with it, and she'll send me pictures every month of her friends looking through it, and they're all wearing their gloves because she loves it so much. And if people don't have a lot of wall space, sometimes people live on a lake and they have all windows, or on a golf course. They always have table space. So it's a great option. I think every professional photographer should have albums and books in their product mix because it's going to get your average order up. You can't offer an album with 20 to 30 images in it for just a few $100. Like, that's a lot of images. So if you count the number of images times whatever your image price is and add that up plus the album times 4 or 5, you're in the thousands. And people value that. And in the ordering appointment, they know that they get a certain amount in the album, and so we can focus on wall portraits. So we've already got the album sold. Let's not take time in our 1-hour ordering appointment to pick those images. Let's go pick wall portraits and the series and the other things as our order just goes up and up and up. Hey, listen, if you're tired of overshooting, editing, and giving away high-res digital files for a few $100, and you'd like to start offering your clients products like this, because that would mean adding $1,000 or more to every client order without photographing more images, you're actually photographing less, then I'm going to stick something for you in the description. It's my irresistible product trio, and you may geek out over it. Product number 4 is hand-painted digital artwork. So this image of this dog was photographed, and then it wasn't just an action, it wasn't AI, not saying you can't do that, but we wanted them to know it was hand painted, where we added highlights and shadows so you can see how that pops. And we have little jewelry on the dog. I'm grabbing this big boy off my mantle for you to see. It's a little hard, it's a little tricky. Look how big this is. We literally painted it by hand digitally, right, with a Wacom, and created brush strokes, added lights, highlights, and shadows. So I was saying highlights and shadows so that it becomes a beautiful piece of art. And it does take significant time, but you can outsource this. And it's such a beautiful piece of art. The reason I liked this, and we do a lot of this with pets, especially with people who don't have children where their pets are their children. But you know how the Southern Belle of the home has often the woman of the house would be photographed in a gorgeous velvet dress in a gold gilded frame. I just think that is a cool look for your dog or your cat, sort of the master of the house. So if you've never had kids and you only have a pet and you're making your pet bacon and eggs for breakfast, you definitely need this piece of artwork. And I don't sell a ton of this. Like I said, I remember we did one not too many years ago of 2 kids running through the flower fields. So it looked like a piece of art that they would buy at the art fair of just 2 little kids, but it's our clients' little kids, which is so cool. These pieces, I consider them like a statement piece. This one in number 5 that I'm going to share in a moment, they're that thing that you invest in 1 or 2 times in your kid's life. You're not going to buy a painting for them every year. At that point, we're creating it. It's already done. They've already basically committed to it. And you're saying, well, what if they see it and don't love it? Well, then go shoot it again. Like, that's your job as a photographer, is to get some cool stuff that they want to buy. And over all of the years, when we plan things in the consultation before the session, the only reason that they wouldn't buy it in the ordering appointment is because their order got so big that they needed to cut back, right? We add it all up in there at 14 grand. And sometimes they'll say, if I can get under 10, I'm fine. That's fine. I'll help them cut. We're still getting a $10,000 order, which is insane and so fun and so much easier than you think, especially when you have a beautiful piece of artwork that they're going to have and love forever. Again, milestones, new puppy, elderly pet, high school senior, year-old, the formal 4-year-old before they lose the baby teeth, all the kids running through the field for grandma. Great gift for grandma from all the cousins. Product number 5 is also that high-end product that not everybody's gonna want, but it's very cool and it's a statement piece as well. And that is a digital composite. So a digital composite is where you photograph your subject and then you digitally put them in a scene. So you put them on the moon, or you have them riding a dinosaur, or being chased by a dinosaur, or a fairy princess in a castle, on the baseball field with the Yankees, whatever it is. You can photograph this on a white background, or you can order a green screen piece of fabric that you just tape up and use. And then you can send this to a retouching house, or likely use AI. But even a retoucher who's very good at that, it's not gonna be very expensive. Then you can buy royalty-free backgrounds on places like Etsy or different royalty-free sites that already have a perfect moon scene or a castle or whatever. There are so many cool ones. And so this creates a larger than life feeling for kids. It's like that storybook image that they love. And I love this for little kids from like 3, 4, 5 to 8, right? That's a product that I tell parents, like when your child gets to this age, we can create this. And for clients who come back every year, we photograph this little boy named Cal every year, and we do the holiday card. And so we always need something new. So he got a NASA suit one year. So of course we put him on the moon. And I also think these are cool in your home. Like everything can't just be a standard framed portrait. We want black and white, we want color, we want framed, we want canvas. And then we drop in a few statement pieces, like maybe you do the painting and then you do the composite at another age, and you've got series and you've got these things. Clients will need to keep coming back to you. And of course, this will be a larger investment because it's a once in a lifetime purchase. Could they do it themselves? Of course they can. But again, it's about you planning this, involving the child or the family or whatever, and creating this really cool artwork. You're not just pushing a button or sending it off to AI. You're being a part of the process. How you get it done doesn't matter. I mean, might you go to a really nice restaurant and they stick something in the microwave that they serve you? How do you know? If it tastes amazing, you're happy. Here's what I want you to notice about all of these products. None of them are about me being amazing at Photoshop. None of them require you to be a technical wizard. What they require is understanding how to help your clients create artwork for their home, being able to talk about it, help them visualize it, and then having systems to create it and deliver it. The boutique photography model isn't about withholding digital files or holding them hostage. I give my clients a digital file to put on social media of everything they order. Not everything I photograph, but everything they order, because if they didn't order it, why would I do the work on it? It's about fewer, bigger, better in your products, with your clients, your marketing, really everything in your business. And here's the part most photographers miss. When you have the right consultation process, when you go to their home, you see their walls, you take pictures of their walls, selling these products becomes natural. It's not pushy, it's serving them at the highest level, which is so fun. Would you like that done for you? The thing is, I just come from a place of love and service with my clients. I cover price clearly up front, so there's no shock, there's no surprise, there's no emotional meltdowns. They know it up front because I believe so strongly that the coolest place people can spend and invest their money is on artwork of the people they love. And I hope that I've rubbed off on you, because my product mix is very simple. It's about the system that serves the client in a way that they say, I have to have that. In my next video, I'm gonna show you the complete no studio business model that generates higher net profits with lower overhead. And I'm gonna stick the link right here.